So, okay. So what we're going to do is I'm going to put up some pictures on the screen, and then you're going to let me know what they are. So here is the first piece here, and we'll see if you know what that is.
If I had to guess, that would be a juicer?
A juicer. So give people some time at home to see what they think. What is this? It's a meat juicer.
At least I had it right. It was a juicer.
Yeah, it's a meat juicer. It is about from 1884, and it's right now in the condition is you'll find it for about $100 if you see one of these. Now, what this thing did is, if you look at the, they would take meat and they would actually squeeze the blood out of it because they would use the blood for certain things.
That would make sense.
Yeah,
because you could use that for all type of different things. You could use that for soups.
Right. So they would use the blood, and they also believed that the blood had certain properties or certain health benefits to it that we know are. I mean, besides iron and stuff like that, we know that that's not really true today. But this was used back then. So this was a meat juicer about 1884. So here's the next one here. Let's see if you know what this is. Okay, so you know what this is.
You're good at finding things.
I didn't know what this was. Anyone at home, do you know what this is?
Whatever it is, it has a release button.
Any guess?
Okay, I am stumped.
I'm going to just stump it. Okay, so here is what this is. This device is, let's see here if I can get this put on here, and we'll put it up here. It's an ice cream sandwich maker.
What?
From about 1925. Now, if you find these anywhere, they're about worth $75. So what it would do is you take the ice cream and put it in there, and it would make those perfect blocks.
Right.
So that you could put your ice cream in there, so you could make those perfect ice cream sandwiches. So you'd have that perfect square.
Wow.
So that was I wasn't expecting that, but yeah, that I thought you were going to get that right away, because this is I just thought it was obvious.
Maybe if I saw it in different angles, I could have made it out. But
but you stick your ice cream in there, and then it squeezes it into a square, so you can make an ice cream sandwich. I had no idea that they had such a device. So I'm pretty sure when
my mother sees this, she's probably going to fuss at me for the fact that I did not know what that was.
So here's the next one. Okay, let's see. Do you know what this is?
That's upside down. That's what that is.
It is upside down in the picture, yes, but the picture's right side up. But the picture is upside down.
That is either a meat grinder or a sausage maker, meant to grind up pork.
Well, it is a grinder.
It looks like a meat grinder.
Okay. It is actually a cast iron nut butter grinder from about 1899. This
nut butter grinder.
A nut butter grinder from about 1899. If you saw one of these out in the world out there, you'd pay about $100, less than $100 for these.
I've never even heard of.
I didn't know that they were
grinder.
making nut butters back in the late 1800s, but
that's a new one for me.
Apparently so. So that's another one there.
Well, you're making this game very challenging for me.
Okay, and here is the last one. Do you know what that is?
Yes.
What is that?
So you use that on a ship. Nah, I cannot remember the name of it.
There are two pieces to this, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have your Oh God, what is it called? The
This part here.
yes. The why is the word escaping me? We have it in our it's like
It's a compass.
Compass. Thank you. Good Lord.
So you got that. And then there's this part here,
Yes.
which I think also has something to do with this part here, but I'm not exactly sure. All these pieces, I think, kind of work together.
Yeah, so you use the bottom part to navigate where you're going. You use the other part to make sure it's lining up with where you're heading at. I just can't remember what the overall piece is called, but I've seen it before, and we had some pieces, and I donated them, but I still have the compass in the office that your dad gave us, which was all the nautical stuff that he had in his office.
Okay, so here's what this is called. This is a brass alidade and compass.
And compass.
Yes. Now this is, don't know exactly when this particular one is from, but we know it's later than 1300 because they didn't have that type of compass until after 1300.
Right.
Magnetic compasses. I didn't know that, but that was true. Now, if you get one that's actually this old, as you see in the picture, and it's actually antique when it was used on a ship, about $500. But they're still making these brand new just because I guess they look cool. So you can pick them up for $20-$30 depending on the size and what they're made of, if they're brand new. Just for if you happen to have a nautical theme to your house or something like that.
So I can't, just to help myself a little bit. So the piece on the very top of it.
This here?
Yes. So that is actually a leveler.
That's a leveler.
Mm-hmm. And the midsection here, let's see. So this midsection here, you move it back and forth to tilt it where you need to tilt it at so you can actually figure out where you're going and if you're actually going in the right direction and know exactly if you have to worry about waves or you can actually be able to tell type of current and stuff in the water. So that part basically, let's just say that this is the actual piece on the top. So it just moves like this.
Ah, okay.
So at least I do know a lot about it. I just didn't know what the name of it was.
So there we go. Those were some hard ones. I didn't think I would get any that would actually stump you, but
I know, right? No, I did not do very well last time. Let's see how I do today.
okay. Here's the first item. Oh, my goodness, right there. Do you know what that is?
Well, I want to say that's crystal and silver plated, and I want to say that is a jewelry box.
Jewelry box. That is, it is a crystal, and oh look, my face is in the way.
Glove box.
Glove box.
Oh,
it's a crystal and silver glove box.
Glove boxes.
Yes, I had no idea. I had no idea that this was a thing. Actually, I didn't know that. What do you do? You put gloves in this? So
yes, a lot of ladies had long silk gloves that went down almost to their elbows, and to keep those gloves nice and crisp and clean, they would have a crystal box that they would put them in just so they would be protected from the elements and from dust, because back then, I mean, you had silk, you didn't have like dry cleaning to take them to.
That's
so you
true.
had to be very careful about how you took care of them. But I've seen many glove boxes, it's just not often that I see them.
Well, apparently they're not that common. This one's from around 1918, and online you would pay about $1,400. In this condition, you can see it's got some wear on it there, but that's But and I did see some other glove boxes as well, but this one just stuck out to me that you would have a crystal and silver one because I was thinking car. When I was thinking glove box, I thought,
Yeah.
you know, the thing in your car, and I'm thinking you're driving your old Model T with this sitting along, just bouncing around and breaking. But apparently that's not it. It's just a different kind of glove box.
Yeah, a lot of them I would see that were made out of like cedar and stuff, just because cedar will help with humidity, help keep like moths out. So I have seen a lot of them where they were made out of cedar. Apparently whoever owned this was a very wealthy lady if she had a crystal and silver glove box.
Wow. So would this have been expensive back then as well?
Oh, yes. Back then...
This was like 1918, right? Yeah.
Yeah, a piece like this would have easily been 20, 25 bucks, and that's quite a bit for 1918.
Wow. So, crystal and silver glove box. All right, let's see. Next up is this item. Do you know what this is?
It looks like a meat tenderizer to me.
Meat tenderizer.
I'm probably going to be totally wrong.
Actually, you're right.
Oh,
You got one.
I got one, finally.
It is
Yay.
a Russian meat tenderizer from the 1980s. It's not even that old. This one would be about 50 bucks. They're still made today. You can get them for around 20 bucks online, brand new. I thought it looked much older than that. It looked like a medieval shaving implement that would just really give you a terrible shave. But so it's a tenderizer. So you would just roll this over the meat?
Yeah, pretty much. Just roll it over the meat. It's kind of like the meat tenderizers you see now, except you just don't beat the meat on the counter to tenderize it. You just roll it, and it forces those really sharp pieces into the meat.
Nice. Well, you got one.
Yeah, finally. At least you're not being too terrible on me today.
Okay, let's go to the next one here. This is, do you know what this is?
That looks like a Art Nouveau silver centerpiece for your dining table. But it's got to have some sort of practical use.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that part of it is the space on there. It gives kind of, I mean, when I found out what it was, kind of
I'm
gave it
gonna
away.
assume a cake stand or some sort of dessert stand.
A cake stand or let's see here. This is wrong thing there. Let's see. So no, actually, this is a visiting card tray.
Really?
Yes. Circa 1911. It's German. It is silver. So you would sit your cards in this area here. I don't know if it's going to show up on the screen, but you would sit your cards here in the area
In the open space.
In the open space, right? And that would be where apparently having calling cards was a thing back then in the late 1800s or the 1800s, 1900s, where you would have these little cards that you'd leave behind or whatever that would have like your address and name, because there was no phones, but you would leave your address and name behind, and they called those calling cards or a visiting card. And this particular one is very valuable, and is the website that I saw it at was they were wanting $6,500 for this silver tray here.
That's quite a bit.
It is quite a bit. Okay, so let's see. Oh, there we go. Look at that. I managed to make that work. Okay, so let's go to the next one here. And what is this?
That is a wood and brass cooler. Basically, it's a refrigerator. The bottom left side, they would bring a huge block of ice.
So this here?
Yes. You put the block of ice inside of there, and it cools the rest of the compartment. So basically, that is a first ever refrigerator.
You are correct. This is an ice box. It's Gibson Cambria was the name. Circa 1880 on this, and they actually did line out what was what in here. So actually, the ice went here in this model.
Wow, they usually put it on the bottom.
Yeah, that's what I would have thought. But you put your milk and butter and whatnot, that would go down here. And I don't know how you'd fit your milk in there. I guess sideways. And then you put
the containers were much shorter back then.
Right. And so and your fresh fruits and vegetables here, and then you'd put eggs and cooked meats and leftovers here, and then raw meat and poultry here, because everybody knows that cold sinks and heat rises. So that's, I guess, the design here is that the cold would go down in here, and so the things that you wanted to keep the most cold.
It makes sense since you have a larger compartment on the side. The walls of that was made out of, I think it was lead or stainless steel. I don't remember. But the compartment walls is what generated the coolness to the rest of it. So it would make sense, since that side is taller, you would have the ice cooling both of those walls to make both compartments cool. So yeah, I guess if I would have looked at it a little closer, I would have figured it out.
But you got it right.
Yeah.
That was right. So icebox, which is what some people, like even if you had grandparents or something, especially if you're in our generation, you had grandparents, they would still call the refrigerator the icebox.
Yeah, the icebox.
And what I found was there was a guy, an iceman, who would come around. And I think in the article it said like every 2 to 3 days, with more ice, and you paid this guy to come and bring you ice to put.
Yeah,
in
and
here.
there was this huge hook that he would hook the block and pull it out of the truck and pull it into your house and slide it into your ice box. Now, I actually had one of these when I lived in Kentucky, but it was shorter. It had like the compartment underneath the ice chamber. The compartment was up above it, and then the ice chamber was in the bottom. So it was just one little chamber.
Right. And surprisingly, even for one of this era, this one's from 1880, that must be so common that they're not very valuable. This one you can get for about $250.
It's more of the demand is so low that a lot of people just don't want them.
Yeah.
Not unless you have a house that you're decorating for that era would be the only time someone would actually want that. So they're just really not hugely in demand, because if you've restored a house from that era and you wanted to get a refrigerator from that era, you already bought it, so you don't need another one. So they're just not highly in demand,
Right.
unfortunately.
Well, you actually got 2 out of the 4 that time.
Yeah.
I think you got none last time. So here we go. We're going to go with the first item here. And you can see, here we go. There it is. What is that?
Okay, I got to slide this closer.
What is that?
It's so hard to tell because I can't tell if it's actually sitting upright.
It is sitting upright, and that's a handle at the top that you're seeing.
That is a handle.
Mm-hmm.
If I could see it larger, is there any way to make it larger on the screen so I could see it bigger?
Nope, this is what you get. You have to guess from this. Oh, and Margaret said nice haul, which I agree with Margaret. That was a great haul.
Thank you,
It's
Margaret.
absolutely amazing haul. So this here part's a handle.
I'm stumped. I guess because I can't see the way it's sitting. It's on a white background.
So let me show you what it is, and maybe this will make more sense to you. It's a cast iron shingle cutter made from the 1930s, from after 1931. So this was first made in 1931. So it was after this time. This is what you cut shingles for roofs with. They still make shingle cutters today, but not like this.
That's a good guess, Margaret. Paper cutters. Good guess. You had a guess. I didn't have one at all. I've never seen one from that era. And the puppies want to greet us now. Nicholas, go sit down, puppy. Go sit down.
So yes,
Good
so
boy.
about $200. If you found one of these in an antique store or something, it's worth about $200 for that there.
Wow.
So, all right, next item. Let's take a look at this and see. Do you know what this is? That is the strangest looking thing I've ever seen.
Well, obviously it mounts on the edge of a countertop.
Yeah, this here.
That handle moves upwards. It looks like, what is that, a hook?
This here.
Yeah.
Yes, it kind of does. It kind of, this here, it kind of looks like a hook.
Why does this remind me of a pair of like old stirrups?
It's not stirrups.
It's not stirrups.
No. Any guess?
No.
Okay, here it is a cherry pitter from around 1900.
See, and that's the part that confuses me with these pictures you give me, because it gives you no dimension, because it's just cut out and put on a white background. So I don't see a scale of it. I don't know if it's big or tiny.
Right. Yeah. Well, most of these don't come with Vanna White holding them, so we can't. So I can't show you the scale.
You know,
of
if Vanna White was holding it, I'd probably have a better guess of what it was.
But it's a cherry pitter, and I didn't know this was a thing. But they still sell these today. Like you can get them for about $20 on Amazon.
Yeah.
They don't look like this.
No,
they're
don't.
much more simple now. And you just basically, it's just a thing you just push down, and it puts. I didn't know that was a thing because I don't eat fresh cherries. I mean, the cherries I like are maraschino, so I don't have to worry about that. But yeah, cherry pitter there. So let's see what the next item is here. What is that?
That looks like a stamp. Like if you were going to stamp.
So that does kind of look like a mold, like this part here, right?
It looks like a stamp you would do a pastry with, like a pastry stamp.
Yeah. But it's not.
I just don't understand what the under part is. And yet again, I don't know how big this thing is.
So it's not very big. I do know that. For this, we're talking about something that might be about like this big. And I'm sure nobody can see what I'm doing.
I know.
So it'd be smaller than that pop. But it's just a little thing. It's not huge. And this probably went, if I had to guess, this part here would be turned upside down onto the bowl. I don't think it's sat at the bottom. I think it was turned upside, at least based on what I've seen in the other pictures of this.
Well, then it does put an imprint.
Yes, it does put an imprint.
If I had to guess, it's a mold and a press for makeup.
It's a butter press.
Butter press.
A butter press from about the 1900s. They had a lot of these. Apparently that was a thing. You used to make shapes and designs out of your, this one's wheat, but I saw some that had like pineapples and other designs that you would use this, I guess.
I've heard of butter molds, but
so
I've
when
never
your butter
seen,
came out, it had a nice pattern on it, I guess. I guess that was a thing to do back then.
I never seen one like that.
Yes.
I've seen butter molds, but not like that one.
These apparently were extremely common because this one in particular, which this one is from the 1900s, only about $50. So there was a lot of them to buy. So it must have been very common. I've never heard of it. I saw it and I was like, what is that? And I thought it might stump you as well. So we got one more item here. What's that? And I can tell you that's small. That's like this big. It's not. maybe about the size of an egg. Well, at least this part would be the bottom part here. And this little top here screws on.
I'm stumped.
That's 4 out of 4. I managed to do it again. So this is an egg coddler from the 1920s. I don't even know. This was done for some reason. It was they used coddled eggs in, I think it was, they used it on salads or something. There was something they used these coddled eggs on that was a thing. That I don't remember what it was, but you used coddled eggs, and I guess, I don't even know what that is. I don't know what a coddled egg is. I figured you would.
Surprisingly, with me knowing so much about food and cooking and knowing about old items, I do not remember right off the top of my head what an egg coddler
was
is.
for, yeah. But that's what that was, an egg coddler. Not extremely expensive, and they still make these. The ones they make today are very ornate. They have like designs, they look almost like china. They got like a pattern on the front, like it's an image, and a little screw on top. It's very, very ornate and pretty. But they're not extreme. $35 or so.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, well, 4 out of 4. This last time you got a couple at least. This time.
At least I got a few last time.
Well, at least
I don't know where you're finding these things at. But
it's hard. I have to dig and dig and dig.